Okay, my name is Martin Selby, and this is my persuasive speech for Todd Voss's public speaking class 176. Hello everyone, my name is Martin Selby, and today I'm going to be presenting on the topic of some innate behavior tendencies people have. I'll be expressing this through three concepts from social psychology that tend to create obstacles when sharing opinions and getting people to accept new opinions on controversial topics. These three social psychology concepts are confirmation bias, Dunbar's number, and people's tendency to behave like chameleons in social situations. So, diving into the first concept, which is known as confirmation bias. This is a concept that states that people have a natural tendency to find evidence to support the views that they already have. And even more so, it tends to function as a bit of a defense response. If anyone says something that feels accusatory or does something that basically attacks the identity or social status of a person, naturally that person is going to gather lots of evidence to support why they are not a bad guy in this situation. People are very good at this, and it doesn't matter how bad the evidence to support themselves are, they'll still use it and accept it as evidence. In the age of the internet and access to wide amounts of information, people can find information to support basically any idea they have, no matter how bad it is. So from this, we can conclude that generally, if you want to get people to accept new ideas, not attacking their status is probably going to be a better route to getting them to at least listen to you. Second, we have a concept known as Dunbar's number. I got my information about this from the book The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. So Dunbar's number is a concept brought in by the primatologist by the last name Dunbar that states that on average people have trouble feeling a strong sense of community with more than about 150 to 200 people. And with this, people tend to be somewhat tribal and very protective of any groups or people that they see as an extension of their own identity. So going off of confirmation bias, people will also tend to defend themselves and others that they see as an extension of their own identity. Because of this, we can conclude that when you are trying to present controversial topics to people, in addition to not attacking them as an individual, not attacking a general group that they are part of, is a useful tactic in not having them shut down to information that you're presenting. My third concept comes from the book The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt, and one very interesting study from this book that he presented is that if you take people in general and you have them fill out a questionnaire expressing their political beliefs and even more so than that, their beliefs about purity, and you have them stand next to a hand sanitizer as they fill this out, they will respond slightly more conservatively on the report. So this is a very, very mild change of surroundings for a person, and if something as simple as standing next to a hand sanitizer can slightly alter their short-term political beliefs, then imagine what a huge difference it's going to make if you're in a situation where people are leading by example and enacting the values that they want to have change around them, as opposed to screaming at someone that they need to change. So from this, in conclusion, I would like to say that generally you're going to have a better time getting people to accept new ideas, particularly those surrounding controversial topics or ones that involve changing some aspect of a person's identity, if you are not accusing them, if you enact by embodying the changes that you want to see this person make, and if you share your ideas and information through a spirit of sharing and giving as opposed to trying to blame and accuse. So the three concepts from social psychology to remember from this are confirmation bias, Dunbar's number, and Jonathan Haidt's study regarding ideas of purity and political beliefs when standing next to hand sanitizer. So in closure, for a couple good quotes to remember, for success in changing the world, love thy enemy and be the change that you want to see in the world. Thank you.